Gonna be tight coming into this first corner. The inside guys are gonna push out, but we're gonna try to control the outside line here. We're still getting pushed a little bit as everybody stacks up through the first corner and no one's going anywhere, but we're gonna come out in 7th. Hey, what's up everybody? It is Kellen here from Start Your Systems and welcome back to MXGP 2021 Career Mode. Continuing on today with the end of our MX2 career, and we're jumping back into this game because I kind of took a pretty long hiatus from playing it. I was getting a little bit burnt out on playing these like super arcade-ish games, but then obviously MX's ATV Legends comes out, and I kind of wanted to go back and more or less see how this game compares, how it feels, what I like or don't like about this one versus Legends. And just get a general like sense of both games to a degree. I'm probably going to do the same thing with Monster Energy Supercross 5 because it's been a couple months since I did a video on that game as well. And obviously MXGP 2022 will be coming out in probably 4 or 5 months at this point. But yeah, we're trying to like, I'm trying to see kind of these comparisons with these moto games and what I guess from each aspect of these games we could pull together and maybe make like one supreme game if we ever got to that point. So we're jumping back in and seeing what this feels like. Have the red plate. I'm up on Jed, beaten by 32 points, I think it is, in this championship with 3 rounds to go. So we might get through all 3 of the rounds today. I'm not too sure, but here we go. Don't remember if I'm on manual or automatic transmission. It looks like we are on manual, so getting that vibe back a little bit. And what I immediately remember about this game that I really didn't like is how squirrely the bike feels, which a lot of it you're supposed to control with leaning back on the bike and stuff like that, but I still felt like it was a tad overdone, personally speaking. And the bike really just kind of feels really heavy compared to Legends, which is what I'm obviously a bit more used to at the moment. So into first person, and then there's the goggle cam, and then the follow cam, and then the far cam, but we'll do this follow cam. I remember a little bit now, the follow cam right here to me just gave like a false sense of like scale of everything, and it didn't really feel like it followed the rider very well. But now that I'm playing it again, I don't know, maybe I felt it wrong from the get-go, and now it does feel a little bit different, but definitely, I think, a better camera view than this far one. This far one feels like it's really far away, and I almost feel like I'm like drone camming it a little bit with this follow cam. But what I do definitely remember about this game is once the AI got to you or got around you, you had quite a race on your hands, because they very infrequently, I should say, let up once they got to you. So we'll see if that's the case at this race at this point, as we're going to swoop to this inside, go into first person, see how this feels a little bit. Kind of remember this first person feeling a little bit wonky and hard to get used to, just because it feels like you're constantly like turning, and because of that the bars are doing like this weird movement the entire time. Like it never feels like you're actually planted on the ground to me in this first person camera. So not a big fan of it, but just trying to compare it to Legends a little bit. I still feel that they're pretty similar, just a little less twitchiness with the Legends stuff. As Yago Gears is going to go by us, so I'm going to go back to camera I'm more comfortable with here in third person, as we're going to get, is this the white flag or the 2-lap board? I always forget. Yeah, 2 laps to go. So this is basically a 4-lap full race here for 2 motos. So we're going to follow Yago around here a couple laps, see if we can catch him back. Again, I just don't love how wobbly this game felt. I think that was my biggest turnoff with it, was it just felt like the traction model works fine, but the fact that the rider's always kind of doing that like little wobble back and forth movement, and you're supposed to lean back to counteract, like I said, but even that just doesn't feel like it does enough to counteract it. It just feels like you're constantly wiggling, which is so not how it's supposed to feel, but I digress. And yeah, the AI, man, they're tough in this game. Definitely way tougher in this game than they are in Legends. Legends AI is ridiculously easy. Try to win this first moto if I can. And we're going to loop out, so that's going to cost us some positions. Vial beaten go by. Fernandez just not going to quite go by. As we almost loop out over the top of that hill again. That's like the problem is if you lean back everywhere to try to counteract the wobbling that's constantly going on, then you loop out more often. And then you slide out of a corner and run into a flagger. That rear wheel planted. See if we can take an inside here. Almost got the drive, but he's just going to pull away down the straightaway from that outside line. I got it pretty close at the end. We definitely were catching him, but we'll take a 5th. It's not the ideal. I don't know if it's the sponsor objective that we hit either, but take it for what it's worth. So Beaton got 2nd, pulled back Another 6 points in the championship on me. That's okay. If we pretty much just do that the rest of the way, then we're still going to be the champion. So pretty simple. Let's see what we can do off the start in the second moto. Forgot to shift. So these guys are going to all pull me to the first corner, but see if we can just run it in up the inside. Still grab the whole shot. Nope, that's going to be Jed Beaton with it. All right, so Beaton and Geert starting in front of me this time, which is different than the first moto. I wonder if I'll be able to pass them back. Well, we're going to split the difference here and almost get in between them both. Oh, almost looped out. Down past the mechanics area. Looks like the track stayed rough from the first moto. I didn't know that that was something that stayed the course, but it definitely looks like the ruts from the first moto that we laid down are still there, so that's kind of cool. Again, they don't really do much of anything, but just cool that they leave the deformation as is, and Geertz is already starting to pull away from me, so we got to try to pick it back up here a little bit. Scrub that guy, and the scrub never comes back for some reason. Pushing out on these ruts too much. Got to pull the focus back in a little bit. Again, it just feels so slippery and slidey. Like, so I've been playing F122 a little bit with my friends here the last couple, basically 2 weeks now, since the game has been out. And one thing that's always hard for me about any car racing games, but specifically this new F1 game, is it feels like you're constantly just a little bit on ice when it comes to rear wheel traction. Like, you're just always trying to just get the rear tire planted, and it never really seems to fully want to grip when you're really at least pushing the car. Like, if you're going slow enough, obviously it'll grip, but in this game it's kind of like the same feeling where when you're really pushing, when you're trying to push the pace, that's when you start making the big mistakes, which I kind of like that, because I feel like it's a good challenge then to not like override the track and actually try to ride realistically within the limits. But as we hook a rut there a little bit. But it is a little bit frustrating when you are trying to push and you're trying to catch somebody and you feel like you're not doing anything wild or crazy or different than you had been doing, and then suddenly the rear end just kicks wildly out. And the AI are also really good at corner speed when it doesn't feel like you can get the same level of corner speed in the game. They go up to the top of the hill, try to get this U-turn and get the traction planted. Oh, come on, it's not going to let me skip that. All right, so we lost another position to Fernandez. A little bit high-centered on the rut there. There's a scrub that somehow worked. I definitely didn't think that was coming back. Well, I will say, I'm having fun with this challenge. I don't like some of the physical aspects of the game, but every time I pick up these arcade games, the whole point of it to me is, am I having fun, right? Like, it's supposed to be a video game. It's supposed to have fun. And this is a fun challenge. Like, this is a hard challenge to get used to. It's a hard game to get used to. Definitely not easy to beat the AI consistently in, which makes it, you know, realistic to a degree in that sense, that you're not going to win every time out, and you're really going to have to try hard on certain tracks, maybe mess with settings on some tracks so you get a little bit better traction and some things like that, as we're going to wiggle all the way up to the scrub jump. So the only thing that I wish at this point is, like, I wish the AI would still be this tough, but you wouldn't wiggle as much, and you could like actually scrub and do certain things like that as well. As Van de Moosdijk is going to go down behind me, that might keep me in 5th place no problem at this point. We're still going to push to the flag, make sure we don't have any late moments here coming down the final straightaway. But it is Geertz who takes the win, 1-1 at Teufenthal. And we're going to go 5-5 for whatever position. Not a good race, either moto for us, but that's all right. So Beaton did get second again, which means he got second overall. We lost 12 points to Beaton today. And we're going to see where the championship standings are. But 5th overall at Germany. And we are now 21 points ahead, so still 21 up, trying to hold on. So we were 33 going in. We leveled up to level 29, got some hole shot, more experience that way, and proceeding on to the next race, which is, not sure. Let's see if we find out what it is. Oh, and right into a new contract window. So we were with Greenland, and we could stay with Greenland. Looks like we unlocked a couple more, like Wiseco is now available, and some of these other ones, we're not level 30 yet, but some of these other ones, like Hinson and other things. Or we could join a team, and we're not level 30 yet either. We're 1 away, but now we could do Team Honda Racing Asamotor, SM Action Racing Gas, RAS Motorsports KTM, E2T Racing, a couple teams like that, Bike at MTX Kawasaki. I'm going to stick with my trusty gas, but we're going to go to a little bit better sponsor in terms of the performance bonuses. And let's go with Hinson Clutch Components, because Hinson Clutch Components has actually supported the gaming industry a little bit here of recently. They sent me a couple things to display on our streams because they've been a big fan of seeing how many people use Hinson stuff for their game, for just playing the game. But this track is pretty cool, pretty fun. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I still like the Talavera de Reina track for the Spanish Grand Prix over this one, because this is more of like a purpose-built track versus Talavera being a permanent facility. But this track is still pretty fun, I would say. Like, it's not a bad track whatsoever. Let's see if we can get the whole shot from the outside. Oh, man, we're going to get boxed out, and everybody's pushing wide. Thibaut Benestat goes down in front of me, and we're going to come out in almost dead last. So this is going to be quite the uphill fight. Let's see if we can make a couple quick passes. Shove Michael Sandner out of the way. Got a couple other guys running. Hofer is in here. Isaac Gifting. Bois-Ramey. And to Moosdijk, and then Beaton, who we've got to try to get to around the outside. Almost made the pass on Bois-Ramey. These guys are slowing up quite a bit for these corners. This might be one of those tracks that the AI is not quite fully integrated to how you're supposed to attack this track, because we just run right in the back of Jed Beaton and go down. So the F&H Cowie riders of Bois-Ramey and Van de Moosdijk still right in front of me. I love how big the ruts are in this corner and how nice they feel when you actually get to lay into them. Try to get third gear all the way through this corner. Up the inside, nice pass in the end to get around Bois-Ramey. Now let's go get Van de Moosdijk if we can. So Jaco Geert's turning it up late in this championship. A little bit concerned at this point that we're going to lose so many points to Beaton unless we can get a move on here. Looks like we got another 4-lap race though, because time should expire before we get back to the flag this time by. All right, come on, Bois-Ramey, come here. Got to come catch up to him. Yeah, look at how much they slow down for that corner right there. Like, you can definitely brake way later. Saw how late I braked for the corner to get to him. So that just seems like something they're just not fully integrated, I guess, yet. Trying to ride that rear tire, scrub over to the back and land right on a tough block. Come on. Too many mistakes. Really starting to struggle with the feel of this game late in this moto. Ooh, and then the rear end still sliding through that corner. It's just tough, man. Like, it's a weird balance, because I feel like with MXGP, they're trying to make it so that if you push too deep into the corner, you just like don't actually start turning until you get to a slower speed. Whereas in Legends, if you push too deep into a corner, you can turn the bike sideways if you want, but you're just going to slide forever. So what's the right one? Because it should be to the point where if you're going too fast into a corner, you just can't make the corner, right? But why is it in this game you can't even lean over? Is it because they're worried about the traction that you'll grab or what have you? I think there's got to be some middle ground established there where it's not about leaning or anything like that. It's just simply you're going too fast. Like, you cannot make the corner if you're going too fast. And obviously you can outside wag the foot peg as if you're going to like scrub in the corner. But to me, as we run right into the back of Bois-Ramey and go over the bars, to me, it's kind of a funky system because the game isn't really designed to do that. It's like it would force you to take a different maneuver as we go into more tough blocks. Come on, come on. I'd almost caught back up to Bois-Ramey for 7th and then immediately crashed into the back of him and then crashed again. And now we're battling for 8th with Michael Sandner here. Jed Beaton is battling for 3rd, so he is gaining some serious championship points back on me here as Sandner just drifts to the left side of the track to block. I'm going to try to just use the long line here, make a pretty easy pass in the end. And I still think it's possible to get to Bois-Ramey, so let's see if we can kind of put our head down, put the focus down a little bit, and catch up to the Kawasaki racer. Van de Moosdijk just went down again, but looks like he's probably a bit too far gone. So it's all about trying to catch up to Mathis Bois-Ramey. Oh, we're going to get so close to Bois-Ramey in the end, but I think I'm just going to fall short. Hang on, last turn. Oh, man, so close. Fell just short at the line. Ended up 8th. So where did Beaton get? 3rd. So he just gained another 7 points back. It's down to just a 14-point gap with 3 motos of this championship to go. I need a win, and I need it bad. All right. At least we're going to have a better gate selection this time, so maybe we could pull a whole shot right in between Boisrome and Sandner, who we were between in the first motos. It's going to be tight coming into this first corner. The inside guys are going to push out, but we're going to try to control the outside line here. We're still getting pushed a little bit as everybody stacks up through the first corner, and no one's going anywhere, but we're going to come out in 7th. So not a terrible start, but definitely could have been a little bit better if those guys had made it through that corner. We're going to try to sneak down the inside, get a couple quick passes right here into 5th. It's like these opening couple laps is really where you can make your time. As Gifting and Harp are going to slow down for this jump, so we're going to split the difference. And if I could have just gotten that corner a little bit better, could have gotten away from those guys. Now my focus here at this point is going to be clean laps as we immediately crash. Come on, go, go, go. So Harp goes by. We stay in 4th. There we go. All right, held on to 4th. And then this is, like I said, this is my part of the track right here. As Hart makes a huge mistake in that corner. We would have had him if I didn't blow the inside line so bad. Outside right here. Yeah, there we go. Up into 3rd. This is a big turnaround right here if we can hold these positions through the roller section. Can't tell. Like, I feel like, oh, wow, that's a weird crash. Okay, what the heck? I feel like going first gear on some of these tight inside lines might be the move, but then I'd go down to first gear and immediately spin around, so I don't really know. These guys are terrible on these little inside rollers. As I just go under Iago gear to get landed on a little bit. But we're back into 3rd, and the 2 leaders are long gone at this point after that crash, so I could say goodbye to even thinking about catching them, but try to put my head down and get away from this group so I can just ride a lonely 3rd place. Be really the ideal situation for me. Fortunately, neither of these guys like right behind me yet seem to be beaten. So if I can keep these guys behind me, this might give me an opportunity to gain just enough points back to feel really comfortable going into the last round. As Vial and Fernandez are absolutely gone at the front of the field, but that's okay. Not worried about them. High centered on this rut. Come on, what are we doing? I'm going to try to pass him back in the exact same spot I passed him last lap, which is through this corner right here. They just are not good in that section. We got 2 laps to try to make it work to get back around Iago Geertz for 3rd, but I feel like now that he's ahead of me in this section of the track specifically, this is going to be him saying goodbye to me. Trying to put all my focus into just eyes ahead on Geertz. Keep him as close as possible, because that's going to help me keep the gap behind me pretty stationary. Let's go to the second rut. Maybe a little bit of an arc and immediately crash. Come on. Oh, and Jet Beaton just went by. Are you serious? Let's go. All that time, I thought it was all the cowies that were right behind me, and turns out Beaton was just lurking behind them, waiting to pounce the second I made a stupid mistake. And now he's going to pass me with 1 lap to go. Come on now. So dreading, not this corner, but the one after it. I feel like I'm going to just blow it right up here. And he's going to probably get it so good. Look at that. Laid it over to the inside. I didn't get it bad. I think he's still just going to be a little bit too far ahead. Oh, this is going to set up such an interesting championship finale. Oh, trying to get him at the line. I was just going to send it and hope, but it didn't work out. 6th place, right behind Beaton. So I think only losing 1 point, if I remember right. Okay, so I actually lost 2 points to Beaton because it was 5th in that moto. And he gained, let's see, 38 to 29. So he gained another 9 points back on me, which is setting up quite the championship showdown here of just a 12-point advantage. We're going to hope that we can still make this thing happen. A lot of different people have won GPs. Fernandez, Renault, Geertz, Vial, Beaton's won 2. I've won 5. But still just 12 points going into the last round here of the MX2 Championship, which we will find out what happens in the next episode. Going to send you guys on your way today. But going to try to do a little bit more of MXGP. Going to do a little bit more Monster Energy Supercross. It's Pietro Murata as the final round. and we'll see what happens then. Thanks guys for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. So long for now.